Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I thought we would go over some new products that I just recently got. There's a couple oldies in there that I thought we would just kind of play around with some makeup today and kind of get ready with me as I do my makeup. For those of you that are new to my channel, thank you so much for subscribing and tuning in. My name is Courtney and I'm here to talk about all the things skincare, beauty, and all the little things in between. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, hit the little notification bell so you get notified of all my upcoming videos. So let's get cozy and let's get into it. A couple of new things that I recently got was the Rare Beauty concealer that I really was interested in trying. I got the shade 160C. So this is a light peach. So I wanted to get that to really combat the dark circles underneath my eyes. So blue, the peach is gonna combat the blue. So I thought that might be an interesting thing to try. It says it's a medium to full coverage, so we're gonna see how that works. I also got this Jecca Blac Hydrating Primer, so I'm a little bit more on the drier side, so I wanted to see how this would work for my skin. I also got here the YC Collection Blush. I did get these two, it's called Girlactik. It's a brand here, so it's gonna be, oh sorry guys, it's upside down. So one of them is a liquid liner and one is a gel liner. So I've been playing around with the gel liner. I haven't tried the liquid liner, so I think we're gonna try and play with that today. We've got a Glowdient highlighter. We're gonna play around with that today. And then we've got a Give Them Lala Beauty palette, which I was really excited to try. I have tried this already once. The colors aren't crazy pigmented, which they look like they would be, so I'm gonna try and do a different couple of techniques to see, maybe spray my brush, see if they're a little bit more pigmented that way. First off, I'm going to start with eyebrows. Just that way they're out of the way and nothing will get in the way of when I do my eye makeup. I'm gonna use my Covergirl. This is the ultra fine brow pencil. This one here is in the shade 705 Rich Brown. So I just darkened my hair. This is the darkest shade that they make, at least in store. I'm not sure if online they make any darker shades for people who have black hair, but this shade is really good for me. I like this one because it is a retractable, really fine tip, but then there's also a spoolie on the other side. So all I do is I just comb up. I don't have very thick brows. I do have them microbladed, so I just comb up, and all I like to do is just kind of fill in the gaps a little bit. So all I do is I start by kind of doing light strokes. I always find this is the most boring part of anybody's makeup routine is their eyebrows, because, you know, everybody has their own way of doing brows. You know, you've got the 2015, 2016 really thick, full, filled in brow, and then you've got the soap brow of 2021, which I would love to try, but I just don't have really thick brows, so I don't know how that would look on me. But so all I do is I just kind of fill in where the microblade part is thicker here, and just kind of color that in and bring my tip down here. And then I just go in right here and kind of just go up and do kind of little flicks. Just to kind of mimic the natural brow. And then I'll go in on the opposite way and do flicks going down, as that's the way your natural hair will grow. And I'm not one of those people that like their brow is like their signature and it has to be perfect. If, you know, if I don't get my brow perfect, my day is not ruined. And then I'll just move on to the other side. I mean, I'll get them as close to each other as possible, but your brows are supposed to be sisters, not twins, so I can't really get them perfect. I was that teenager that overplucked in the early 2000s, and they've never grown back perfectly since. That's why I have them microbladed, and I mean, I try to like overfill them a little bit, but I mean, you can only work with what you've got. Like, you can definitely go in and like clean it up with concealer and stuff, but again, I'm not that person that cares that much about their brows. As long as they look decent, then good enough for me. So once I feel like I have them filled in enough, then I go in with the Brow Fast Sculpt from NYX. This is like a mascara gel. I wish this had a little bit more kind of like oomph to it. Like, I wish it held it a little bit more in place. It does after a while harden a little bit, but again, more of like that soap look I wish it had. But this is in the shade medium brown, and I'm sorry, this is from Maybelline, not NYX. I did used to use the NYX one, and again, I find it like a gel mascara doesn't really do what the soap effect does. So I am gonna have to go out and try to find a soap alternative, because I don't really want to use soap. I know Anastasia Beverly Hills has like their little container, I guess, so maybe I might try that. If you guys have any options, leave them in the comments below and maybe I'll try one out. So all I do, this is just a little wand here, and I just go in and I just kind of flick up. So I guess I do the same thing that you would do for the soap brow, but I just kind of go in, flick up, and then kind of pull down. But I have this one in the shade medium brown so that it kind of still tints the hairs as well. But this just kind of sets everything in place. And I do trim my brows also, so that when I do flick them up, I don't have wonky brows. I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna prime the face. That way that has time to sit. I usually like it to sit for about 5 minutes. So once I do the prime, then I'll go in and do the eyes, and then you can get onto your skincare. So again, we're gonna go in with the Jecca Blac Hydrating Primer. This one here, I'm gonna go in and just put it in kind of my problem areas. I can be a little bit oily in my T-zone, but for some reason, like my chin and certain areas are a little bit more dry. So I'm just gonna go in and put this definitely down here. I'm just gonna go in with a brush and do this. You can go in with your fingers, it really doesn't matter. You can go in with a sponge, a beauty blender, whatever you want. So I'm thinking for our kind of our base, I'm just gonna go in with the Wife, this shade right here, kind of stick with that as our base. So all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go in with my fluffy brush here, go in and just kind of windshield washer motion that one. And just kind of make that our base. Okay, so we're not doing a crazy eye today. I say that and then watch it go and end up being crazy. And as you can see, I'm holding my brush at the end here and pushing with very light pressure and just going back and forth. And I mean, that color's, it's not dark, but like it has some it looks like it has pigment to it, and like I put, you know, a decent amount on the brush and not a whole lot is coming off. So I don't know. Now I'm gonna just take more of like an angled brush, and we're gonna go into this color here, Boss Lady. It's kind of like a burnt-ish orange color. I thought it might go well with the yellow. Go in here. You can see like I've got quite a bit of product on there, so let's see. So this one here, I'm just gonna do kind of on my outer corner here. Okay, this one's doing definitely better. It actually looks more pigmented on camera than it does in real life, which, I mean, that's fine, but in real life, I'm just in natural light right now, just so you guys can see what I think is the real color. But one thing I do like about this palette is there's not a lot of fallout. And that's why I always do my face makeup last after my eyes, is because if there is fallout, it's easier to clean up. And this brush here, this is just I know this is a MAC brush, however, I have rubbed off, it's a bit of an older brush. I think it's just their blending brush, but I have rubbed it off. I'm just kind of blending that now into that crease color. So now for in here, probably take, this one here looks more on the like coppery side, whereas this one looks more on the gold side. So we're gonna take the ring here, and that one there, I'm gonna spray my brush. This is the Milani Make It Dewy setting spray. We're gonna take that and pick up our product. See if that makes a difference. And it does not. Okay. Try with your finger. So that's the shade there. Like it looks really good with your finger. I don't know. It's almost like the formula is really creamy. I have no idea. I have no idea. So all I'm doing is just kind of patting this onto my lid. See, I said it was gonna be a subtle eye. There it is. I wanted to play with as many of the colors in this palette as I could, just to like, you know, see how everything performs. And when I say I'm gonna do that, it ends up being not a subtle eye. It's my own fault. So now I'm gonna go back in with that transition brush, grab some of that same color, and that's what I'm gonna use to kind of blend that all out.
Just going back in with the sparkly copper color to just try to even it over the lid. Just kind of pack it in. Kind of the eye. Don't worry too much about this stuff because I'm gonna clean that all up with concealer. But at least that's the eye. And then if you want, you can go in with just like a lighter shade, and then you can just go up and clean up underneath the eyebrow. Some people like to bring up their colors right up to the eyebrow. It's kind of your preference. I'm just gonna take a concealer brush, go in with a little bit of concealer on the edge, and you're just gonna go in, kind of follow the bottom line here. And that'll just kind of clean that line up. Now we're gonna go in with our eyeliner. This is, like I said, it's the Girlactik Precise Eyeliner Marker. This is in a brown. I prefer a brown eyeliner as opposed to a black when I'm not wearing black. I find black can be a little bit harsh on me when I'm wearing a little bit of a brighter color, so I prefer a brown liner. Again, all in preference, but I also prefer a felt tip liner as opposed to something that you have to dig out of a jar, that sort of thing, and do with a pencil. So all I'm gonna do is just, I'm not gonna do a crazy wing, I'm just gonna do a little bit of a wing. I'm just gonna follow my bottom line and just kind of do a little stroke. And I already don't think I like that. We'll see. We'll see. Okay, wish me luck on my other side. I can never get them even. Primer is on the skin. It doesn't feel tacky. My skin feels super hydrated. I love it. Love it. So let's go in now with our CC cream. I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna apply it with a brush. I'm gonna go in with a flat tip and I'm just gonna apply one pump and see if that's good enough. I'm gonna go in with a brush and then I'll probably go in and just smooth everything out with a beauty blender, just so you don't have like those strokes. But I find a flat tip brush like this, and if you kind of just like push it into your skin, any sort of foundation, if you just kind of push it into your skin, you don't get those like brush strokes, and it really settles into your skin nicely that way. So what I do is I start in the middle of my face and work your way outwards. Because generally this is kind of where you need your most coverage, is, you know, middle of your face. It'll be interesting to see how this covers with, you know, having this primer. I was gonna say highlighter. Having this primer on my skin, because I always found that the CC cream always around my chin would be drying, always, no matter what. I could have the most moisturizer on and then like within an hour, ooh, dry patch. I do love the CC cream. I love that it has SPF in it. Now, a makeup can say that it has SPF in it, but unless you're using the appropriate amount of SPF, it's not going to matter. So using an SPF underneath your makeup is still beneficial. I wouldn't rely just on the makeup as your form of sunscreen, but having an added sunscreen is unreal. I am just gonna go in with the e.l.f. sponge. It's just very lightly dampened, and just go in and kind of work that product a little bit more into my skin, just in case there is any brush strokes or anything like that. I find this just really softens your product into your skin. Yeah, this is beautiful. There's literally no dry patches. Now, I mean, we will see as kind of the day progresses, but yeah, this is beautiful. Now let's go in with our new concealer. So like I said, this has a peach kind of underlay. They did have one that had a pink underlay, so I think I would have been fine either or. I mean, my circles aren't black and they're not blue. They just have a, you know, dark tone to it. So I think I would have been fine either or. They're both on the lighter side. I do want to go a smidge lighter. So with this one here, I am going to use the Fresa. This one here, this is the Conceal and Set brush, but let's go in. Let's try it. The doe foot applicator on this is really nice because that's gonna get right into the corners. So, first impressions, here we go. We're just gonna do a little dot here, a little dot here. The reviews are really good on it. I mean, some people, you're gonna get bad reviews on everything. Some people say, you know, I didn't like it, it didn't work for me, but I mean, it's the same as everything, right? So, all right, let's work it in. Be interesting to see if it's a buildable too. Like, it doesn't look full coverage like my Born This Way. So far. It's definitely lighter than I'm used to, because my other one is my skin tone, so, and a concealer is supposed to be lighter. I think the internet said, like when I bought it, it said a medium coverage to buildable full coverage. So we'll see, but where my under eyes can be dry, I'm just worried that if I build it, it might become, you know, a bit creasy, a bit cakey. We'll see. So far, not hating. It's not creasy. I mean, it could be the primer underneath, but it definitely brightened up my under eye. I am still of the era of concealer, love concealer. I don't do the triangle, but because I have dark circles, I have to use quite a bit of concealer. I'm not gonna pretend like I don't. Let's see if it is buildable without, you know, being too creasy. Definitely brightened up, which I think is the point. It brightened up my under eye. So let's just go through, brighten up the other spots. If I were to put powder over this, it would cake instantly. It always does. That's why I don't even bother doing it. I mean, if I powder from here to here, it doesn't. My nose might get a little bit cakey, but always my under eyes. And I always used to do it because that was the trend, but I realized after, you don't need to. So now I'm going to go in with my cream products. So first, let's take this new blush. It's very pink, so I'm gonna just go in with like a little dab just to see. So let's just, hopefully that's not too much. Let's work that out with a brush. Let's use an angled flat brush. Oh, she's pink. Oh, but when you work it out, it's really pretty. It almost just gives you that like flirty, like little Glow. I'm really big into, I have a bit more of a rounder face, obviously, there's no denying it. So I'm really big into like highlighting this stuff up here. I also have from Rare Beauty, this is an Enchant the Liquid Luminizer. So this is as well a liquid product. So I always put my liquid or cream products on first, then that's when you can go in with your powder products over top. So let's go in, do a couple little dabs. I absolutely love this product. I love it. It's got a little hint of pink to it, which I like, but not enough that you're like, oh my gosh. So with that same brush, I'm just gonna go in and blend that out. I don't mind that there's a little bit of that blush still on, because I don't know if anyone's noticed the 80s, that like attack of blush, like almost like it's still your eyeshadow blush is coming, attacking your face. I don't know if anyone's noticed, that's back in style. So with there still being a little bit of blush left on this, it's gonna kind of come back up into my temple with that highlighter. I'm not ready to be part of that trend yet, but this will work me into it. Let's finish up with our under eyes. So with our palette that we had, I'm just gonna take kind of a mix of the Wife and the Boss Lady. And instead of doing like a swipe motion, because I find when I do that, the powder kind of flicks back into my eye and irritates, I'm just gonna do kind of like a press motion. So I'm gonna take the Wife and just a smidge of the Boss Lady, and then I'm just gonna kind of press that into my lash line. Kind of just like pushing it up. And then for mascara, I'm just gonna use the Falsies Lash Lift by Maybelline. I really am loving this one. I'm loving the brush of it. I find it really just goes in, it lifts, it gives me volume, it gives me separation. I'm loving it. I had a lash lift done probably about 3 weeks ago, so it just kind of helps accentuate all that. So I'm just gonna go in, do a nice coat on my top. So now once your mascara is on, now you can go in with your powders. But I am a little extra, so I am gonna go in with my Milani. This is the O2 Rose Doro. I don't know why I couldn't say that. I like to go in with a powder over top of my creams. It just sets it a little bit better. It just kind of makes everything stick, your creams stick a little bit better. It is an extra step, you don't have to do it. I'm extra and I like to do it. So I'm just gonna go in with my brush, just a little twirl. I like this one because it has those little reflective specks in it. So it's almost like a little bit of highlighter as well. Don't be worried, we are going in with a highlighter as well. I'm just gonna go over top a little bit of that blush that we just did. Just kind of bring it in. And it just kind of highlights what we've already done and brings out that color as well. I'm gonna go in with my Milani 03. This is in the color Suntan. This is their Silky Matte Bronzer. So I'm just gonna do a little bit of bronzing as well. I'm just gonna take my little angled brush here. So I'm just gonna take kind of my feathered brush here, and all I'm gonna do is just kind of lightly dust over these colors here, and then just kind of lightly shimmer up. Just kind of give us a little light highlight, and it'll just kind of, again, where we already did that, where we already did the Rare Beauty, it'll just kind of lift, it'll just kind of give us, you know, some extra color on top of it. Just kind of bring it up a little bit above the brow. So what I'm gonna do with this same palette, just for the inner corners and a little bit of brow highlight, is I'm just gonna take this lightest color here, dip just a small, actually, I'm gonna dip my angled tip brush here. I'm just gonna take this lightest color here and just go into that inner corner just to lighten us up a little bit. Love an inner corner highlight. There we go. And I still love a brow highlight, so I'm just gonna lightly dust that there. That there. Now I don't wanna do too crazy of a lip. I tried to keep it a little bit natural today, but so I'm just gonna go in with my Nars Laguna Lip Balm, which has it's a brown, it has a really nice gloss to it, but it's got almost like a brown undertone to it. So I'm literally just gonna go pop that on. This is really nice to layer over top of like maybe a matte lipstick or something like that to give it that gloss. But there you have it. What do we think? I'm loving the eyeshadow. Now that I've kind of played with it, I've worked with it a little bit, now I know how it works. I'd like to get into the more deeper shadows, maybe do a really smoky eye with some of those like reds or something, like those would be really pretty. Love it. Like I said, there were some new, but there were some oldies. Both the Milani bronzer and blush I have already used before, and the brushes I've already used before, but the primer and the blush and the concealer I love. But yeah, overall I think this was a really good kind of testing new video. If you guys have any newbies that you've been trying out that you're loving, please put them in the comments below so that I can try them out. I always love trying new products. Thank you all so much for tuning in. I really appreciate all the love and support. If you have any questions about anything that I've tried here today, please let me know. I'd love to chat, and thank you so much. Stay tuned for the next video. Thanks, guys.